Welcome to Stukent Expert Sessions. The presentation will begin shortly.
Hello, my name is Rosibel Cruz. I'm currently an operations manager at Walmart Distribution Center here in Bentonville. A little bit about my background. I graduated with my bachelor's in business about 4 years ago. I took a break from school and later on I ended up going back to school. I attended John Brown University where I got my MBA in international business. So today I will be covering a little bit more about how you get ready for the future as you finish your studies. So the first thing I would say is getting your foot in the door. And by that I mean, if you see a company out there that you would like to work for, but if you have put in applications for maybe you want to do management roles, a piece of advice is if you want to work for that company, I would just try to take an entry-level job and go from there. Some companies will require some type of experience. When it comes to management roles, they'll probably require a sort of leadership experience or something that is school related to that area. So I would say it's important to take advantage if you know anybody that works for that specific company, reaching out and making sure that they know that you want to work for that company. So I will take you a little bit through my journey. When I was wanting to work for Walmart about 7 years ago, I had to reach out to a couple of friends just so they could put in a good word for me. And so I started working for Walmart as an hourly associate. I started in the shipping department. I was a loader for 2 years, and while I did that, I was also able to complete my bachelor's degree in business. So that worked great for me, even though at that time I thought that I wanted to do more, but they did not know who I was. So my first thought was, I'm just gonna get my foot in the door, let them know that I am interested in taking a leadership role later on. And that's what I did. I worked as an hourly associate for 2 years. And while I did that, like I already mentioned, I completed my bachelor's in business. And while I was at the company, I made sure that I was, always available to help, to train, to help with other new associates coming into the building. So I say something that is important and what's important for me is letting people know what your aspirations are, but also making sure that you develop a really good work ethic and you're there and you're always there on time and do the right things. That's going to put you in a really good position for future roles. The other step that I highly recommend for a person that is starting with a company is reaching out to, I would say, try to reach out to find a mentor. That way you have a person that can guide you and can walk you through what all the steps are that you need to take to ensure that later on you are considered for a management role or whatever role you would like to take in the future. So I would say take advantage of that. When I was an hourly associate working for Walmart, I was able to work with great mentors that were able to walk me through all the steps that I needed, what skill sets I needed to develop to make sure that I was ready to lead the next role. And I would say once you have accomplished and you have been able to put yourself in a situation and have maybe the role that you wanted, I would say don't just stay there. I would start reaching out and learning other areas within the industry. I would honestly try to continue learning other skills and also always be open to feedback, and that's the only way that you're truly going to grow. It's letting everybody know, letting your leaders and your supervisor know that you are willing to learn and that you're also open to feedback. During my time as an area manager, I was able to expand my knowledge by helping out other areas. So while I was the manager in the shipping department, I was also able to learn other areas like small stores, non-conveyable. So that allowed me to make better decisions for the business, having the knowledge for 3 areas in my department. So every time that I was tasked or I had a challenge, I knew that I had to make decisions, but not just for my area, and also for other areas. So every decision that I made, it was not just for the benefit of my area, but overall was to make sure that we were doing the right thing for the department, and overall getting the cases to the store, getting the product to the store in a timely manner. For me, it was a great benefit to know so many areas within the building that actually allowed me to put myself in a good situation to later on get promoted to operations manager. So all my skills, all my experience that I had acquired in those areas, and also starting my MBA put me in a good position to later on become the first female ops in the building. Something that is also really important in your career is networking. Once you are in an area and you have learned the area and have learned to manage everything, and I would say start reaching out, start networking. If you see jobs, I would honestly start reaching out to those hiring managers or different departments and just ask, maybe you could job shadow, or maybe someone could walk you through those roles. That's really important because that's going to put you in a great situation whenever roles that you might be interested in open up. By having those connections, you're going to ensure that whenever a job becomes available, that hiring manager is going to reach out and let you know that there is a position that you might like. I would say also, going back to job shadowing, it's beneficial for both the employee and the employer. By job shadowing, you get to know the area a little bit more and all the details on the daily, weekly, and monthly tasks that you're going to be required to do. So I highly encourage that. I actually have a job shadow session coming up for me. I will be job shadowing an international business role, which is my interest. I would like to potentially transition from working from the DC to an international business department here at the home office. And also, I would say, if you ever have an interview, make sure that you prepare for that interview, that you reach out to hiring manager or HR partners asking for more information on what exactly that interview is going to contain. That way you can start preparing for the interview. And after you have that interview, I will follow up with an email, saying a thank you note, sending a thank you note to the hiring manager or the hiring team for taking the time to consider you. That's going to ensure that once they know that you're interested in the job and that you also have the skills to follow up on tasks. I had an experience recently. There was a job that I was very interested in learning more about. So what I did was I reached out to the hiring manager, just asking for more information about the job. I asked her if she thought that I would be a good fit for this role. So I went ahead and on that same email, I attached my resume, and I just gave her a quick overview of my professional career and also educational. And that same day, this hiring manager reached out to me, and we had our first meeting. And then later on, I ended up having a meeting with her hiring team. So even though I did not get the job, I was able to develop those connections. And later on, a few months later, she was actually able to reach back out to me, and then she's been sending me other jobs that I might be a good fit for. So I would say that the importance of networking and developing those relationships is very important. Those are the people that are gonna ensure that whenever a job that you might be interested on opens up, that you're the first person to get that notification. So to summarize everything, I would say if you're currently in school and you're looking forward to your next job, or the next job that you like to take, I would say is nothing wrong with starting as an entry level and grow within the company from there. That's something that worked very well for me. So I would say reach out. If there's a job out there that you might like, I would reach out to the hiring manager, just giving a quick overview of who you are. And then once you get an interview, I would ask for the opportunity to job shadow. That way you can learn that role a little bit more before you take the job.